We're being joined now by Dr. Lateef Busari, Executive Secretary, National Sugar Development Council. Thank you very much, Dr. Busari, for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good morning. Well, despite a growing health consciousness, sugar production in Nigeria has been identified as a revenue opportunity for the country as the world pay attention to climate change, with ethanol now witnessing growing demand in the transportation system. However, sugar output in Nigeria has remained suboptimal. Why?
Well, thank you very much. It has remained suboptimal because sugar production, it's a process. It takes some time before you can have sugar on your table. In the Sugar Master Plan, we estimated actually if you have the three main things that you require to produce sugar, you have the land, you have the technical expertise, and you have the finance. Today, if you have all the three today, it will take you about 5 years to have sugar on your table. Not to talk of where you don't have anything, you have to start now looking for the land, you have to start looking for where you mobilize the finance, you know. So yes, it has taken us quite a while, but I believe that 7, 8 years down the line, and let me first correct one small point you made. Yes, we started the development of the master plan in 2008. We finished it in 2010. We subjected it to stakeholders buy-in for the next 2 years. I wasn't approved for implementation by the Federal Executive Council until 2012. So actually, we started the implementation in 2013. And if you go by the 10-year plan that we had, it will be 2023, by which time we expect the plan will run through. Okay. So yes, 7, 8 years down the line, we are not as far as we ought to be, but we believe we have laid a very strong foundation for the takeoff of sugar production. And what do I mean by that? All the 4, old sugar plants owned by government that were privatized now have very serious core, investors. Some of them, one of them has already been, completed, commissioned, and working. 2, but for COVID, should have been commissioned early in 2020. And then you just have one that had run into serious battle, that's Basiti one, that we just got a co-investor for it after the initial investor died, very unfortunately. We just got an investor for it now, late last year. So, and then you have a couple of new projects coming up. And these are private sector led, they are not by government. These are, serious business people that we believe have put in a lot of investments and will definitely ensure that they take their money, they get their money out of, those investments. So yes, we are still in the process, but we are certain now than before that we'll begin to see the impact of the master plan in the next 2, 3 years.
Busari, among the challenges hindering sugar production is the issue of land acquisition. Many sugarcane farms have been turned into residential areas, making it difficult for private investors to acquire land. What have you done to address this problem?
Well, it's a work in progress. The Land Use Act, says that the land belongs to state governments. But then, of course, we do know that communities, hold their lands in Africa, very, very, very seriously. So, yeah, we continue to engage with the state government, with the communities, to try to let them understand that what we are trying to do is something that will add value to their land. I mean, the land has been there for ages. At best, you are just doing some bit of farming on it. If you could allow investors to come in, and the kind of investors that we are talking about in sugar are the ones that will develop the entire area, the place in Lafayette now. All the people in Lafayette are so happy that they have allowed BUA to come into that place because now they have even a small airport there. And they are even already hoping that the Muslims among them hoping they can take off for Hajj, from there. So you have hospitals, schools, and all the like. Besides the fact that you provide a lot of jobs for your own citizens. So yes, we continue to engage them. Where the problem comes is that original owners of the land or whoever acquired the land will have paid compensation. Then their children come in 10, 20 years later and now want to even start claiming compensation, So, but it's not something we can solve, at a go. It's something that as they rear their head. And what have we been doing? We've been having town hall meetings. We've been seeing the state government. We've been seeing, the local chiefs and the owners of the land, engage them continuously. And we have asked the operators themselves to increase their CSR, corporate social responsibility projects that will involve citizens of those areas. And I think by the by, we are beginning to, get them, to understand that we are bringing value and they are appreciating that. But of course, it's something that you'll continue to engage.
All right, Dr. Busari, many would argue that the domestic sugar subsector needs serious attention from the government that goes beyond the formulation of a long-term plan if it is to meet national consumer demand and explore ethanol opportunities. For example, the U.S. deliberately keeps sugar prices high to encourage farmers to repay loans and continue production. How about that? Are there lessons to learn from these countries, particularly Brazil? Brazil is the leading global producer of sugar. So are there lessons to learn from these countries?
We are indeed learning from all of them. In coming up with the master plan, if you look at the document, we are not starting from afresh. We are not just reinventing the wheel. We'll learn from all these other countries that are, global leaders in sugar production. Yes, and even though the same countries will tell you that some of the measures we put in place that we shouldn't. They want to continue to use our places as markets for their own products, where we know, and the government knows, that we derive more, benefits to the country from having our own productive capacity, So, yeah, we learn from them, and we continue to, for instance, all the new plans that are coming up, we have the master plan, advises that they also come along with ethanol segments. If you go to Lafayette, Guinea, in fact, they have already completed the ethanol plant faster than even the sugar plant. So all of them. So no, because before way back in the 60s, 70s, you'll be surprised. You go to any sugar estate, the ethanol is diluted and used to wet the roads to keep down the dust. Now it's become money spinner. So, if you don't even use it yourself to produce ethanol, I'm talking about the molasses now that comes out. If you don't use it to produce your ethanol, you have buyers queuing up, to get it from you. So yes, so we learn from them, and we have factored all that into the development agenda of the sugar development.
All right, Dr. Busari. So your term as the executive secretary of the National Sugar Development Council will be coming to an end this month. What would you say was your greatest achievement, and what were your challenges?
Well, to come up with achievement, I would like to mention maybe 2 or 3 key ones. First is the fact that it was during my time that we even came up with the master plan itself. Like I told you now, we started implementing in 2013. I became chief executive in 2012. That, along with the amendment of the Sugar Council law, not only gave us the roadmap, it also gave us the capacity, to walk that road. So I think that because now we had our purpose and we have the equipment, to follow through that process. That's one. 2 is that, secondly, is I think the reform of the Sugar Council as an agency that will drive the process. And I want to take that along with, provision of tools that will enable the staff, to be able to do that work. So we digitalize, most of our processes, the accounts, the procurement, the, HRM and all that. And, to get that, not only, got a new head office so that our people have a conducive environment under which to work to be able to drive this process. And I think the third one will now have to do with our mandate. Like I said, all the old 4 sugar companies, owned by governments have been privatized. They are in, serious hands. They are following through. And but for a couple of some of the challenges that we all know that we've been talking about, by now we should, and by 2022, 2023, I think, we should have about 500, 600,000 tons of sugar. The other is still a far cry from where we are going, but I definitely it's a solid foundation from which, the further development of the sector, can rise. The final one that I may mention is the provision of critical enablers, for the sugar industry to become virile and competitive. I'm talking here of, the National Sugar Institute we just, established that will provide R&D backup, to the sector, as well as capacity, manpower development, technical manpower development for the industry. And then, of course, a part of the institute also has the sugar biofactories that will leverage on, cutting-edge techniques and technology to rapidly multiply cane seeds for our farmers, for our growers, and the like. So I would say these are some of the major impact or achievements that one was able to, record over the period.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Busari, and congratulations on the successful completion of your tenure. We wish you all the best as you move on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Umeze. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, from the effect of the outbreak of COVID-19 to the consequences of border closure, manufacturers say they lack confidence in the economy in the whole of 2020 as the manufacturing sector gasped for breath. They just brought out their CEO Confidence Index for the fourth quarter. That's what we will be discussing. The Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi Kadir, joins us next.